It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is CarEdge Live for Tuesday, December 3rd, with your hosts, me, Ray, and, well, the good-looking hoodie kind of wearing guy, Zach. And I must say, not Consumer Reports shocking the car industry. What, pray tell, is going on?
Before we jump into that, folks, today's show is brought to you by CarEdge.com. We're going to be talking about the latest data from Consumer Reports in just a moment. But before we do, if you are in the market to buy a new or used vehicle, or if you're thinking about saving money on your auto insurance, refinancing that auto loan, selling an existing car, or getting warranty protection for your vehicle, check out CarEdge.com. We have all sorts of various tools, resources, and things that can help you out back there on CarEdge, CAREDGE, CarEdge.com. Dad, the big story from Consumer Reports is they brought out their latest rankings of maintenance and repair costs over time, and the data is fascinating to say the least. I will mention that back at CarEdge.com, we also have cost of ownership data broken down by make and model. The information we're about to look at is just by brand, and it is fascinating. Shall I scroll down and review it with you?
Well, this is all news to me, so yes, of course.
Before I pull it up on the screen, which brand do you think has the lowest cost of ownership?
The lowest cost of ownership.
In terms of maintenance and repair cost.
In terms of maintenance and repair costs.
Yes.
And
I'm also going to ask you and the chat and the community, which brand do you think has the highest?
The lowest is Subaru.
Okay.
And the highest is Mercedes-Benz.
All right, so we've got Pops thinking Subaru and Mercedes-Benz. Let's get some guesses in the chat. We've got Space Explorer saying Toyota is the lowest, Mazda is the lowest, Toyota is the lowest, Lexus is the lowest, Tesla is the lowest. That's a damn good guess. Maybe I'm alluding a little bit too much to what the answer is. We've got highest is Benz or BMW. Dad, you're going to be disappointed in yourself. We're going to start with highest. Drum roll, please. Land Rover, Dad, and it's not even close. The dark blue is showing you, and again, this is just repair and maintenance costs. The dark color is showing you in the first 5 years of ownership. The light blue is showing you in the next 5 years of ownership. The expected 10-year repair and maintenance cost for a Land Rover is nearly $20,000, $19,250. Porsche is next at $14,000, and then Mercedes-Benz at $10,000. It's not even close, Pops.
It is not. Oh my goodness, $2,000 a year just for the privilege of driving a Land Rover. And if, as they say in the industry, if you'd like to be able to drive a Land Rover daily, you need to own more than one.
So there's a lot of issues, obviously, with Land Rovers. Dad, I'm going to pull it up over on our website. Let's take a quick peek here and let's see what data we have. Drum roll, please. It gets an F on our value rating. Can't be too surprised to see that. The expected cost of ownership, $83,000 in depreciation over those first 5 years. And you can see the maintenance expense of $6,145. But what Consumer Reports does really well is they're starting to actually show expected repair cost too. So what you can see is $20,000 freaking dollars over 10 years. The opposite end of this list, let's scroll up to it. Let's scroll up to it. We're going. Wait for it. Tesla. Right there, Dad. $4,000 in 10-year costs. And again, this is just maintenance and repair by brand. That's a $15,000 spread between the least expensive and most expensive brands to own in terms of maintenance and repair costs.
So if you want to average it out, you're best if you own a Tesla and that Land Rover. And that way you can say, no, it's not so bad. Or something like that.
So what does this make you think about, Dad? We obviously know that Land Rovers are selling like hotcakes. Tesla sales are actually slowing down, even though they're still going up. Buick is right there with a low cost as well. Toyota, Lincoln. It's fascinating. I'd say 3 of the brands in the top 5 here. What's the 5th one? Let's scroll back down. Chevy. Ford. Lincoln's not selling like hotcakes. Buick's not selling like hotcakes. Tesla sales are starting to slow down. But then on the opposite end of the spectrum, I haven't heard bad news about Land Rover and Porsche. We know Mercedes-Benz is starting to slow down a little bit. It seems like these high cost of ownership are not necessarily keeping consumers at bay.
Well, it's certainly not keeping well-heeled consumers at bay. I'm pretty sure, just looking at the bottom four, Audi, Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, and Land Rover, we're talking about premium brands, expensive premium brands there.
Yeah.
Land Rover, one of the most expensive. Porsche, a statement type niche vehicle. Mercedes-Benz, we've always known them to be expensive to A, purchase, and B, maintain.
Yeah.
Audi, same thing. So these are luxury premium brands that have luxury premium pricing, and most of them are German brands, which have always been known to be more expensive to maintain than, say, your average Asian brand or many of your American brands.
Yeah. So there you go. The Consumer Reports data painting a very clear picture. If you want to spend a lot of money on a vehicle, get a Land Rover, Porsche, Mercedes-Benz. Those are the three that spend on average more than $10,000 in your first 10 years just on maintenance and repairs, followed up by Audi and BMW, Volvo, all over $9,000, then Infiniti over $8,500, Acura at $78,000. There's your Mini, Dad. Your Mini coming in pretty high up on the list, as well as Subaru at over $7,000 each. And then again, like we said at the beginning, the brands that have the lowest cost of maintenance and repairs: Tesla under nearly $4,000, Buick just under $5,000, Toyota under $5,000, and Lincoln right at $5,000. I'm surprised to see Ford and Lincoln so high on this list.
I am as well. Is there a way on the CarEdge website that we can break it down just by cost of ownership? Ranking that way?
Do you mean total cost of ownership? What do you mean? What's the difference?
Either the maintenance portion of it or total cost of ownership
of those brands, or of specific
of just, like if somebody wanted to go, okay, what are the most expensive vehicles to own? Total cost of ownership. Is there a list of that? Or
yeah. So if you go on CarEdge.com and then under research, there's car rankings. And what we do is we actually break cars out by popular models and luxury models. And then you can see here, we'll stick on popular. We'll do worst vehicles. So we can do worst value coupes, worst value vans, worst value hatchbacks, worst value for all the various makes and models of vehicle. Or of course, we could do best as well. So the best value coupes, the best value vans, etc.
Do worst value, and just out of curiosity, pick one of the categories that some of those brands that we just looked at would fit in, and see how they stack up.
Let me do that. Let me also put this link up on the screen in case anyone wants to join me. Again, it's caredge.com/car-rankings. And I don't know, why don't we do... we can do SUVs. How about that?
Okay, yeah.
Alrighty, so click on that. Worst value popular SUVs. That's a mouthful. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
The Nissan Armada is your worst value popular, aka not a luxury brand, SUV, ranking 172nd overall with a 5-year cost of ownership of nearly $80,000. Pops.
Isn't that what the damn Armada cost to begin with?
The Armada has a starting MSRP of $56,520. Let's see. Okay. Then the Ford Expedition, similar starting MSRP, $82,000.
Oh my!
Cost of ownership over 5 years. Then the GMC Yukon XL, oh my gosh, $92,000 in 5-year cost of ownership. The Jeep Grand Cherokee, with a starting MSRP of $38,000, somehow manages to cost $70,000 over those first 5 years. And then this is the Hyundai Kona, Dad, costing nearly $40,000 in those first 5 years. Yeah, you can see all the value rating. Hey, your Mini Countryman's not too far down on this list, Dad.
I've always said you never own a Mini beyond the warranty period. Always said that.
So there you go. This is, I think, in some ways, I don't know. Let's go back to the Consumer Reports data. Where was Nissan on here? Nissan was fairly high up at $5,700. So I think partly what we're seeing when you compare the CarEdge data to the Consumer Reports data is Consumer Reports is just taking into consideration maintenance and repairs. CarEdge data is also taking into consideration when we talk about cost of ownership. That's also maintenance. That's also insurance as well as depreciation,
Mm-hmm.
which some of these vehicles depreciate more than others.
That yes, some depreciate like a rock. And speaking of depreciation, when I finally saw what the headline for today's show was,
Yeah.
Consumer Reports just shocked the auto industry. I thought, okay, what the hell is Consumer Reports come out with recently, other than the fact that they dumped their Fisker Ocean electric vehicle? So I thought you were that was the shocking part because of, well, it only declined 80% in value in less than a year. And I thought to myself, only 80%?
Hate to break it to you, Dad. That was actually Edmunds. That was not Consumer Reports. That was actually
Okay.
Edmunds. Edmunds says that their Fisker Ocean that they purchased lost 80% of its value in
Gotcha.
11 months. But similar brand, Consumer
Yes.
Reports. And Edmunds, look at this, Dad. I pulled up the worst value popular pickup trucks, and the number one worst value from a popular pickup truck standpoint is another Nissan, the Nissan Titan. This is a bad look for Nissan right now. Then the Ford F-150.
Probably
Then the
helps to
Nissan Titan
explain why
XD.
Nissan's in such difficulty at the moment.
I think it does. I hadn't looked
Yes.
at this ranking. It seems like Nissans hold their value very poorly and cost a lot of money to own. Shocker.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes.
All right, let's just look at really quickly. Again, let's do best. Let's do best. Let's have some good news here.
Okay.
It's loading, baby. It's loading. Wait for it. There we go. Toyota RAV4 costs $28,675. That's its base MSRP, and only costs $36,643 over the first 5 years. Wow, we are just in a whole different ballpark from the best to the worst.
Yes. Yes, absolutely you are.
Then the Honda HR-V costs $33,000. CHR costs $36,000. Subaru Crosstrek costs $38,000.
Oh, there you go.
And the Highlander Hybrid costs $42,000. So just totally, and these all get A ratings, obviously.
Yes.
Look at all these A's, dude. Wow.
Well, I guess that explains why I'm potentially looking at a Crosstrek.
So there you go, folks. Consumer Reports publishing the data on maintenance and repair costs. And I actually can't say that we are too shocked because the brands that are at the top and the bottom aren't too terribly surprising. However, when we start to dig into the CarEdge data that takes into consideration depreciation and ownership as well, I will say I actually am surprised by what's going on with Nissan. And that leads me, Dad, to the other headline in automotive news this morning that I thought was compelling, which was embattled Nissan asks profit-starved U.S. retailers for, quote, patience and understanding in Thanksgiving weekend memo. You want to talk about a mouthful, man? That's a mouthful. That headline in automotive news. I know you read the article. I know you saw this. What the heck is going on over at Nissan?
Well, when the brand that you represent is sinking faster than the Titanic at the moment, yeah, if you're an executive there, you better be asking for patience and understanding. The understanding is that if you don't, we could have just come to you and said, hey, you're all screwed. Do whatever it is you need to do to survive because we ain't here to help. Or you can go to your dealer body and say, hey, we need a little bit of patience and understanding. We're working on it. We realize there's issues. We don't know how we didn't see this sooner, but we are doing everything in our power to correct the situation so that moving forward, dealerships will be able to be profitable again. People will be proud to want to shop and own a Nissan again. So yeah, I mean that's what they're asking for. And it's a good thing to send that memo at Thanksgiving time, when dealers are sitting there trying to figure out what exactly it is. At least Nissan dealers trying to figure out exactly what it is they're thankful for, and apparently what they're going to be thankful for is patience and understanding.
Let's do a little bit of an analysis. You know me, I always go down this path when we're together. I'm going to come back over here, Dad, to the worst value popular pickups. Again, this is under the research tab. I clicked on car rankings down here, and then I clicked on worst value popular pickups. And I actually want to view inventory for this Nissan Titan. And the reason I do, I want to search just new Nissan Titans. There's 2,183 new Nissan Titans for sale nationwide. You already know where I'm going, Dad. I am curious what
Yes.
the market day supply is for these vehicles. This one is the one I'm going to click on here. It has been on this dealer's lot for 428 days. All right, so let's come over here. We've got the car. Nissan Titan costs $55,895. Invoice price on this is $52,489. CarEdge suggests that the dealer discount on this vehicle should be about $4,000. Drum roll, please, folks. We've got a 213 days supply of inventory. So no wonder Nissan is asking their profit-starved, their words, not mine, dealers for patience and forgiveness. A 213 days supply of $53,000 or $55,000, pickup trucks is not good.
No.
Pickup trucks that rank the worst in terms of their value.
Hey, but other than that, the good news is we're working on it. Okay.
I mean, Dad, I made a TikTok yesterday and I stand by it. There are 3 automakers that might not exist in 2025. Nissan's one of them. I went with Jeep, but you can really pick any of the Stellantis brands. And then I said Volkswagen. Volkswagen's going to exist next year, but they're going to have some real challenges as they have their domestic labor conflict. But those are the 3 that are in the deepest poo-poo, and this is really bad for Nissan.
I think all 3 of them will still exist. Will they exist as we know them today?
No.
Will Nissan exist as an independent brand that they've been? Listen, I started with Nissan back in 77, and they always struggled a little bit, and there were any number of times where the consensus was that they might not make it or be able to continue as an independent brand. I think the possibility of that happening today is far greater than it was way back when. Now, who might they consolidate with? Who might they merge with? Who might take them over? And I don't know. But they've always had some type of issues, but the issues have grown so rapidly, metastasized so quickly, that it's hard to look at their situation and go, yeah, they're going to get through this. I don't really see it. Will the brand continue to exist for a long time? Absolutely. Could a fine company like Stellantis come in and say, hey, we've got nothing but losers, let's add one more? Could be. I don't know.
You really think Stellantis is going to buy Nissan, man? I don't think Stellantis is going to buy Nissan. That would be bad. But Honda coming in and buying out Nissan, funding Nissan. So I think this is a really interesting example, Dad, of what's wrong with the car market. Let's go back just for a moment here. We've got the best value SUVs: Toyota, Honda, Toyota, Subaru, Toyota. Then we go to, in this case, I've got worst value popular SUVs. Nissan right at the top. Ford, GMC, Jeep, Hyundai. Hyundai's a little bit of a surprise on this list, but the other
EV, that's the Kona EV.
So it's not too much of a surprise. Just juxtapose what's the best value and what's the worst value, and then you look at the market information. Literally, what are the market conditions for these vehicles? Oversupplied. As you all know, if you've watched this show long enough, the higher the market days supply, the less effective the automaker and the dealer are in selling their vehicles. They're just too many.
Yes.
A dealership and an automaker want this number to be under 90 typically, and we've got 213. And just to really prove this home, let's come back over here, Dad. Let's come back over here.
Yes.
Toyota RAV4 13 days on market, 20 days on market, 13 days on market, 2 days on market. Let's just click on this first one right here.
Yes.
13 days supply, ladies and gentlemen.
As
So,
opposed to a 223-day supply.
yeah, let's just do a quick jump, okay? We're going to do a quick jump. I'm going to zoom out so everyone can see it. 2024 Toyota RAV4 XLE four-wheel drive. Why is the target discount from CarEdge $948 on this one and $3,913 on the Nissan Titan SV that has a 213-day supply? So it's like no wonder these automakers are in the conditions that they're in. It's entirely because the vehicles are a bad value and they're overpriced and they're not selling.
Well, and the perception is that they're a bad value and that they're overpriced, and that there are some quality control issues associated with them, along the lines of the CVT transmissions that Nissan has been known in the past to have some real issues with. And so perception becomes reality. If the public's perception is that it's a crap brand, even at a cheap price, then it's a crap brand, even at a cheap price, and people don't want it. People would rather pay a little bit more for something that they perceive to not be a crap brand. And you know, as a manufacturer, how do you turn that around? You know, it took a long time to get to this position. You know, and the dealers don't want to hear. I mean, I know that they want the dealers to practice patience, but the dealers don't want to hear that it's going to take a long time to turn it around. But the likelihood is that it's going to take quite a bit of time to turn it around. Can they throw any more money at it to try and get people to buy what the public perceives to be a crap product?
Let me show you some data. Sorry to cut you off, Dad, but let me show you some data because we have some data that's starting to demonstrate incentive spending going up even more. So the answer is yes. Here you go from Automotive News. There were 26 selling days last month in November, one more than in November of 2023. The average incentive per light truck, which is pickups, SUVs, crossovers, and minivans in November, was expected to be $3,431, up $988, nearly $1,000 year over year. The average discount on cars is expected to be $2,645, up $881 year over year. So that's the answer to your question, Dad. Can you throw money at these things? The answer is yes. You can absolutely throw money at these things.
But the question is, yes, they can throw money at it. Is it impacting what's happening? On the Nissan front, is it impacting what's happening at Nissan? We know allegedly at Stellantis, dealers are feeling a tad bit more optimistic because, well, sales have been up since the second quarter or third quarter, and you know, inventories are finally going down. It's like, yeah, why did that happen at Stellantis? Because they finally started throwing money at it. But then you read, well, but they're not throwing any money at the 2023s that are still sitting on dealer lots. So it's like, it's almost as if Automotive News wants to paint with two sides of a brush.
Okay.
One side of the brush is dealers are mad as hell and they're losing money and they want Stellantis to do something about it. And they were so mad that they wrote a letter that they published publicly condemning what was going on at the highest levels. And eventually it was probably one of the things that helped to force the CEO out. Then the other side of the brush is, Stellantis Ram dealers have never been more excited about the future because the sales have finally ticked up. It's, you know, and can it be both? I think to a degree, but not to go from one extreme to the other. I think, and you know, I haven't had any conversations with any of these Stellantis dealers. I think there could be a modicum of hope of seeing a somewhat brighter future, but more than likely, the vast majority of them are still pissed at how Stellantis has treated them over the last 18 to 24 months as they watched their inventory levels build up. And they knew that it was going to come to something like this.
But I'm telling you, Dad, they are throwing money at it. That's what the data suggests.
Yes.
And we know it's the end of the year. So if you're in the market for a new car, now's the time. You've got all the leverage in the world. And you know the dealers are pissed at many of the brands, and especially those brands that we've talked about today that have those high cost of ownership. The dealerships that are not so pissed off are the Toyota dealerships of the world, like we've demonstrated. I want to share one more thing. It's free back on the CarEdge car search, and a reason why I think you should use the CarEdge car search compared to some others. Obviously, we have price history, but we've also integrated that cost of ownership data on these vehicle pages. So when you're searching for a vehicle, you can see the cost of ownership as well as the annual expected maintenance costs and likelihood of a major repair in any given year of ownership, as well as a preview of what that maintenance calendar is going to be. There's so much great information here back on caredge.com when you search for vehicles using the car search. And just to juxtapose with that Nissan Titan, look at the price history, by the way, on this one. This dealer back in October of a year ago was asking $55,895. Now they're asking $44,685. The times they have changed. There's your cost of ownership. There's your likelihood of a major repair and annual maintenance costs. It's really good information here, folks. That's free back on the caredge.com car search. So please use that.
As I said it yesterday, it's the type of information you need to utilize when you're trying to make an intelligent financial decision.
Yep.
You need to be able, if you're looking at a Land Rover, you need to understand that Land Rover is going to cost you $90,000 in the first 5 years. You need to understand that. And you need to understand how much the damn thing is going to depreciate, how much the maintenance is going to be, how much the insurance is going to be. These are the types of the type of information you need in order to, well, I don't know, not set yourself up for failure financially, and hopefully set yourself up so that you have minimal expense going forward and minimal loss going forward.
Let's come here to the chat, Dad. We've had some thoughtful contributions come in from Snowshoe Leprechaun. Thank you, Snowshoe Leprechaun. Buying a 2024 Toyota Venza Limited in the Northeast, $25,000 in cash down, about $5,000 for my trade-in. Great credit, quoted out the door $50K. What can I realistically get for it? This is one of my favorite things that we've built back on caredge.com. If you go under research here, you can click on see what others paid. So I'm going to click on that. This will then take you to all of the verified deals from our community and from our concierge car buying service. Our team, last month, hundreds of people, we were able to get cars delivered to their driveway as a result of our work and our efforts. And so let's look. We're looking for a Toyota Venza. So let's come here, Toyota. See if we've got any Venzas. We've got one 2025 Venza, which had $1,000 dealer discount. Let's see if we have any 2024. $800 dealer discount, $1,400 dealer discount. And then it looks like this one. Significant discount between the advertised price and the out the door price. You can also see what loan they were able to get. They had a trade allowance, which obviously was another factor in their deal. So I'm looking at this, Dad. I'm thinking if you can get $1,000 to $1,500 off on a Toyota Venza, that's a job well done.
My guess is at the end of the year, you might be able to get a tad bit more than that.
There you go, though. Perfect resource for you to be able to use Snowshoe. And that data is also integrated back into the car search as well. So when you're searching for cars, you should be able to see what other CarEdge community members. And again, we professionally buy cars for people, okay? Like we've got a team that every single day helps hundreds of people get a car in their driveway. You can see exactly the deals we're able to get for our customers. From Rich. Thank you, Rich. We appreciate it. Not being political, but what do you think the effect will be from the incoming administration on the auto industry? I think the huge impact potentially from tariffs and huge impact on walking back the EV tax credit. So those are probably the biggest impacts that I see personally that can impact the auto industry.
Yeah, there are certain things, you know, there are many who say that the talk of tariffs is a bluff. Who knows? I don't know. But if there are increases in tariffs, and if there are cutbacks in the federal subsidies for EVs, uh, and if CAFE standards are lowered, and CAFE standards are the fleet mileage standards, minimum
Yeah.
mileage standards they must hit. I think one of the things we'll see is a prolonged continuation of internal combustion engines for the foreseeable future.
Mhm.
Um, the this rapid run up to EVs, we're seeing a lot of the manufacturers kind of walk that back to a degree, and
Mhm.
I think we will continue to see that, especially if there are the changes that I just mentioned with the new administration. So this this could mean that the public out there will have more internal combustion engine choices to choose from, whether they be hybrid, just entirely internal combustion, um, moving forward for an extended period of time. So, the changes could be vast, but I think some of the manufacturers like Mazda that kind of took it slow with EVs, like Toyota that kind of took it slower with EVs. I think for companies like that, that bet will pay off in over the next 4 years or so.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Dad. We had another thoughtful contribution come in from ES Jr. Thank you. Used your new SUV. The reliable new ones, Toyota and Honda, are having too many problems. That's a great point. We have seen more recalls as of late from Toyota and Honda than we would
Mhm.
usually anticipate and expect. Mazda, even Mazda, a brand that we talk about all the time, had a major recall, hundreds of thousands of vehicles. Subaru seems to be the safe bet at the moment. But I would still go out in today's market. If you're thinking about buying a car in the next 30 days, I would buy a new vehicle. That logic, that rationale is going to change as we enter into January, February, March of next year. We know tax time, that's really when we start to look at used vehicles. So I'm still on the camp for quality new vehicle. It's under warranty. That's my 2 cents.
I think you have what, 4 weeks in order to find yourself a really good deal today, and I know when I say good deal, that has a different meaning to different people. Um, there are some people out there that'll say it doesn't matter what size the discount is on the overpriced vehicle to begin with.
Yep.
Okay, then you pay MSRP, and everybody else who can negotiate off $3 and $4 and $5,000, you don't worry about them getting a good deal because
Yeah.
they saved $3, $4, $5,000. So there should be bigger savings that people will realize over the next 4 weeks,
Yeah.
than what they've seen all year long.
Yeah, 100%. It is the time of year to get a new vehicle. That's why we're busier than we have been all year. It's because it's the time to make a move on a new vehicle. Beginning of next year is when we start to think about used cars. Joshua, thank you for the kind
Thank you.
contribution. Would you buy a new 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe Summit with 450 miles, my desired color, which they stopped making, or would you say it's better to buy a 2024 or 2025? This is a fascinating question, Dad. What would your advice be here to Joshua? He has one that he's found a new. For those of you that don't follow our show that often, yes, there are new 2022s sitting on dealer lots right now, especially for Jeep. That's the color he wants, only 450 miles. Or are you waiting and getting one of the brand new 25s or 24s?
What's the savings? What's the savings to take that 22 off their hands? If the savings are significant enough, the fact that it only has 450 miles on it, that's a good thing. So if the savings are significant enough and there's no real issues with the car, it has been sitting around for 2 years, 2.5 years.
$20,000 off, Dad.
Then that might be the way to go. And the point I was going to make is you're buying a 2022. It has 450 miles on it today. If you went to trade it in a year from now, most dealers would look at it and they go, okay, normal mileage for a 3-year-old vehicle would be about 45,000 miles. if you drove 15,000 miles the 1 year you had it, you would only have 15,000 miles on the vehicle. So you would have an extremely low mileage 2022 to trade in compared to everybody else, which will help its wholesale value at that time. So bear in mind that there's 2 years worth of use that hasn't occurred yet, 2 years worth of driving, 2 years worth of mileage that hasn't occurred yet, so that the future for its value will look better than any of the other 2022s out there.
There you go. Hopefully that helps you, Joshua. All right, I want to just share one more resource with our community here, Dad, back on CarEdge.com. If you go to the research hub and you research a particular vehicle, one of the things I don't think everyone appreciates that we have, let's do an Acura MDX, click on that. You have on this page, down on cost to own, wait for it, insurance. Get an idea of what your expected insurance cost is going to be on a particular vehicle. Do it. This is a great piece of information, and it breaks it down based on your credit rating, your age. Check out this information back on CarEdge.com, and we obviously have ways to help you try and save some money on insurance as well. So I just want to make everyone aware, as insurance rates continue to go up, please use our research hub to do that research on expected costs of insurance. Don't be shocked by that when you make your way to purchase a vehicle. And again, we are very busy at the end of the year here, but we have time and we have availability to help you. So if we can assist you, check out CarEdge.com, give our team the opportunity to try and help. And obviously everything under research is 100% free. Dad, one final note, CarEdge.com/negative. We're doing our Q4 negative equity survey. If you have financed the purchase of a vehicle within the past year, please fill out this survey. We did this survey back in Q3, and thank you to the community who submitted their answers. We actually got coverage by the Wall Street Journal, among many other publications, referencing the fact that almost half of EV owners are upside down on their auto loan. If you have financed the purchase of a vehicle within the past year, please go to CarEdge.com/negative. It's 100% anonymous, and you are submitting your data for our quarterly negative equity research study. CarEdge.com/negative. All right, Dad, we are back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 p.m. Eastern. I've got something already queued up in my mind for tomorrow, and I'll be live from New York City, baby, with my new microphone. So hopefully it's not going to be echoey and crappy. So wish me luck.
Wow. The grass doesn't grow under your feet, young man, especially when it's like 33 degrees outside, but that's besides the point.
True.
For those of you who haven't gotten enough of me yet, I'll be on with Brandon on our CarSense channel at around 1:30 this afternoon. And usually that runs for close to 2 hours, where we just have like crazy conversations.
Well, enjoy that over on CarSense. Have a great afternoon, Dad. I love you very much, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.
Yeah, I love you as well. Take care, everybody.